Hey up! So I thought I'd do a midweek video. Midweek? Not quite, but the start of the week video. So I only put one video out yesterday. Was it yesterday? Was it yesterday or the day before about the quarantine pond build? So this is another small update what I've been doing, because yesterday I actually got a chance to do more than I thought I was going to do. So I'll walk and talk you through what I've done so far. Quite chuffed. I am waiting for a delivery from Cotswold Koi. They're normally quite good, so I might get it tomorrow or the day after. I needed some more 1.5-inch pipe, a couple of bends, another slide valve. Don't go on about slide valves. Yes, I know they're crap, but I've got another one so they match. And a few other bits and bobs. But anyway, and some reducers. So let's see what I've done. And also, actually, on the way back from work today, because I had a half day today, so I managed to get across to my local roofing supplier, where I get all my resin and matting for the fiberglassing process, because that, believe it or not, is not very far away. I'm probably going to get to be doing the fiberglassing possibly Sunday, to be honest. I reckon Sunday is going to be the day that I will fiberglass my quarantine pond, depending on weather. Obviously, I know I'm under a shelter here, but if it's blowing a hoolie, I don't really want it coming in through this door, unless I put like a little I might put a bit of sheeting over it just to keep the worst of the weather out. But I think that should be reasonably dry enough for me to do it. So there's a few other things I have to pick up. I need to pick up a couple of rollers from B&Q. B&Q's not sponsoring me for this video, by the way. They should do, but they're not. Believe it or not, guys, you get through a load of rollers. You can only use a roller once. It goes obviously solid, and then it goes in the bin. So get a load of cheap stuff. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a real in-depth video of me fiberglassing the pond, because I know a load of people will be interested in how to do it. And trust me, it ain't rocket science. Genuinely, I believe anyone can fiberglass, as long as they've got a little bit of common sense. They do it methodically and logically. Don't rush it. And yeah, I generally believe everyone can do it. Now, the fiberglassing stuff that I've bought for this pond, now this pond is, I've worked it out, and it's literally 8 square meters of coverage. So we've got, the pond is exactly exactly 1 meter wide, 2 meters long, and 1 meter deep. Okay, so we're talking 2 square meters for the floor, 2 square meters for the left hand wall and the right hand one, and then a square meter for the gable end walls. If you call it a gable end wall, I think that's still a logical term for it. So the amount of, so obviously I've got 16 square meters of matting, which I'll show you in a minute, and I use the thickness of 450 gram, I think it is. I think that's how they state it on those. And I've got 20 kilos of resin, which is more than enough to put a real good, I'm going to use the whole pot to give it a real good thick coating of resin. I've got a couple of paddle rollers, so you can only use the paddle rollers once. Again, they just get clogged up with resin inside the axle section, and they're no good. So I've got 2 of those, and that's just to get air bubbles out from the matting, which I'll show you later again. Obviously, and I've got a catalyst. I'm going to get a good dozen rollers, because I'm going to need probably at least half a dozen rollers to do the inside of the pond, because I like to take my time, do it methodically. I don't just whack it all in the whole pond straight away. You know, sometimes I get caught out with how fast the resin goes off, for instance. I'm not an expert at this. Like I said, sometimes I get caught out with how fast the resin goes off. So I'm not an expert at this. I don't do this for a living. I'm not a roofer. I don't work with resin. I'm a hobbyist. So this is literally what I've learned from doing my other pond, and I've got caught out with the other ponds, so I've learned by my mistakes. Ambient temperature plays a crucial role of how much catalyst you put into your resin. You know, as long as you put the right amount in, eventually it will go off. If you put, like, for instance, 2% in for kind of a warm day, it will go off. If you put 2% in and it's a colder day, it will eventually still go off, but it will take way longer to go off. So as long as you've got that magic number, that 2% catalyst in that, I believe, don't quote this to me, but it's always done me proud. It's always gone off. Whether it's gone off in half an hour or 3 hours, it's still gone off. And also I'm going to use, you know, probably half a dozen rollers as well. I'll probably use 2 or 3 rollers for the top coat. And this is the black gel coat, which goes on the fiberglassing of the pond afterwards, after you finished all the fiberglassing. And I like to have a couple of rollers spare. You know, they're only £2. And trust me, if you're in the middle of a job and you've got to go into B&Q covered with resin, it's not nice. You like to get everything you need in one basket, have a couple of spares, 10% spare, and then life could be a lot easier. So what else can I tell you? Cheers. It's a good cause. I got this for Easter last year for my missus. All went to a good cause. By the way, the situation in Afghanistan at the moment is a little bit heart-wrenching for me, to be honest, because I don't know if anybody knows, but I was literally one of the first troops to land in Afghanistan, in Camp Bastion, when it was literally just a tent city. There was nothing there, no aircon, no showers. There was one food hall there. We were sharing it with, we were sharing it with bloody the press and everything like that. And literally I was on the very first Chinook helicopter to land in the Helmand province on active service, on active duty. That's when it was proper cowboys and Indians over there, guys. I'm not going to lie. Had many good nights over there. Very good, lots of firefights, more than I can count on one hand. And if anybody ever meets me in a koi show and gets me drunk, I've got loads of cool stories. I actually don't mind talking about it at all. Even though I suffer from PTSD, I've learned to cope with that over the last 10 years or so. Still a little bit angry, but I do what I can. Yeah, like I said, I've had many good times over there, and I actually love Afghanistan. I love the people. I think they're great. There's only 1% of them that gives the rest of them a bad name, and I do generally feel bad for the guys trying to get out of Afghanistan at the moment. Lots of my good friends who's still serving actually flew out there for a couple of weeks to try to extract all the UK citizens, and they've all just come back. Actually, I'm tattooing one of them next week. I had a little bit of a space, so I thought I'd get my mate in and give him a little tattoo. Plus he's got to give me my machete back. I lent him one of my Special Forces machetes to go to Belize with, and he didn't go to Belize in the end. He had to go to Kabul. But anyway, on to other things. Right, so let's swing you around and let me show you what I've done. I'm quite proud. Kind of proud. I've been prouder. But anyway, so I have started to do all my pipe work, guys. So as you can see, the skimmer is attached to 1.5" ball valve. Comes straight down. Then it attaches to the 3" pipe, which goes to that actually reduces down to a 2". So I did manage to I got a load more 2" pipe in, and because obviously the 90s were a lot tighter than the 3". I could manage actually to get a 2" pipe from the bottom drain. So I reduced down from 4" to 3" to 2", and then it comes down here, and then it basically goes to that 3". Only because I had that and it was there, and that's the only reason that section there is actually 3". But it could have been 2" and then reduce into 1.5". Now the flow in this pond isn't going to be dramatic, so I generally think that's going to be absolutely fine. There's my airline. Airline's all in. and then she comes across. This is the waste pipe, so the waste goes to that corner. It will come all the way across, kaboom, and that's been done as well, guys. So I've actually concreted in 2 platforms, if you can see that, guys. Excuse the change of direction, but I've actually concreted these in, so the Easy Pod is absolutely flat. It's plumb and true in each level. I've left plenty of gap here for me to clean out and swill out around it. You know what I mean? I didn't want to do a solid platform. I thought 2 blocks, cut the block at the right angle, get it all there, happy days. So it fits in there lovely, guys. The top goes on like a treat. So this is going to be the wastewater in. So this is going to be coming from the skimmer and from the bottom drain. So it goes straight up into the Easy Pod. I'm hoping I'm not teaching anyone to suck eggs here, guys. If you have got an Easy Pod, forget this bit and you can fast forward 30 seconds or a minute. But for those that are not, you know, familiar with an Easy Pod, I'll talk you through it. So the pond water comes into here, all the dirty crud from the bottom drain and the skimmer, comes around the outer section, okay? And then eventually it has to filter through this grid on the bottom here. Now, this chamber is normally full of micro K1. So obviously this now is your mechanical filtration. Goes through here, filters through the K1, micro K1, comes through this vent here, and then basically drops down into there. Now that's obviously not centralized at the moment because I've got to unscrew the bottom and play around with it a bit, but then drops through there, and from there it goes out to this. Now this is the return, which will go to the pond. Now obviously I was going to say something, right? So the problem with this is it's got good mechanical filtration, and the bio section of it is meant to be hosted by this micro K1 here. Obviously it is going to host a lot of, you know, bacteria on this, and it will actually do a reasonable job. However, I don't think there's great amounts of bacterial sort of like cleaning process happening in this chamber. I think it's too small. It might cope, but anyway, I'm going to put a Baky shower on, and I'm going to come to that Baky shower in a minute because it's going to be a special project that I'm thinking about doing. So anyway, it goes down here, it comes out through here. Now, what I'm going to do here, guys, is I'm going to get a rubber 90. So it's a 3-inch rubber 90, which is going to come down. Now, I've got something similar here. So I've got a PVC 90 here. So if you can imagine, I don't really want to plastic weld this. Do you know what? I might actually plastic weld that onto there, because I can always replace this section here if I ever use this for another use. So you can actually make up a hole inside. The whole guts can be made up with just fresh pipe. It's easy enough. So from here, I've got a reducer from a 3-inch to a 2-inch, then a 2-inch to an 1.5 inches. And what I'm going to run on this, guys, is I have a spare Vary 10,000. So then that's going to sit pretty much here, okay? Once I put the coupling on and a little bit of pipe, it'll sit about there. It depends how high I want this pipe to come across. Now, I need this return pipe to be slightly higher than the dirty water pipe going in from the bottom drain. I'll explain now. So that's going to fit there, and that's going to suck water from here, which is going to get the whole system to move, okay? Because obviously when water's going to get sucked out of this, it's going to be pulling through, it's going to be drawing from the bottom drain and the skimmer, okay? So that's the idea of this system that I'm doing, because the level of this Easy Pod is basically, if you look at this block line here, it goes all the way across, comes all the way across here, and basically it's the same level as this, okay? So I want my water level to be about here, so I've got 2 inches to play with the top of the water, if you know what I mean. So to that end, this is the same level here, so the water level will be about here. So I've got a little bit of play with there, you know, just in case it overflows or whatever, but it won't. It can't overflow because obviously it can only hold so much water in there, and that can hold so much water in there, and it's going to balance itself out. And she should sit true and plumb, each of them. I've put the spirit level on there, and I've put the laser level on there, and it's all good. Right, okay, so the reason that I want this return line to be higher, now the dirty wastewater line will be about this height here, onto this block level here. It will come across, it'll do a 90, and it'll go straight up into here. This one will come across from the Vary pump, probably sit on here or just a little bit lower, and it'll track all the way across again through here to about this point, and she'll go straight up into my 25 watt Evo UV. From there it will go straight down into my 3 kilowatt heater, and it will travel down this pipe. Okay, it will go through here. This is going to go to the skimmer. Okay, I'm going to put a slide valve up here or here, I'm not quite sure. Now, these are not glued on yet, these are loose. Okay, so it's going to go into a slide valve here somewhere, and also I've got a slide valve here. Now this is going to be the water return. Okay, so what I have to do is core drill a hole here, and I'm actually going to utilize this. So I've got this from a previous idea which didn't work out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to chop one side off, okay, so it will fit nice and tight against the wall on the inside. So the reason, I can pretty much decide which level I want to put this return in, but what I want to do is I want to put the return about here. Okay, so it's about 2/3 down in the pond, so that will give me nice flow deep down low, and hopefully push all the sediment around and into the drain. Now you've noticed I've done the concrete on the base as well. I'll come to that in a second. So, yeah, I can half talk, I can talk for Wales. Where do I begin again? Right guys, so now this is where my idea for a Baky shower has come from. I do like quality stuff, and I want to put a smaller Baky shower on this system. Now I don't want to get a Momotaro Baky shower because it's way overkill for a pond this big, but I do want some sort of Baky shower on this system. Now I told you that the Easy Pod behind me is a great mechanical filtration system, but a bio filtration system, I don't think it's very efficient. Obviously it works to a certain extent, but I don't think it's very efficient. Now I'm a big fan of Baky showers. Since I put my Baky shower on my big pond there, the water parameters has been absolutely fantastic. I got 50 kilograms of Momotaro Baky House media in there. I do plan on getting some more. I was going to get some in the British Koi show, but I didn't get to that. So to that end of things, I've got a good friend called Mac. Now he's kind of an engineer. He does like all the CAD drawings, and he's got a lot of people in places that have got really good companies, and they fabricate things out of stainless steel, water jets, and all this kind of stuff. I've chucked him a drawing, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little picture on the screen right now of the drawing and my idea. So you've got the bottom tier and you've got the top tiers. Now I'll put the picture on now, and I'll talk through it with the magic of my editing equipment. So here it is. So guys, that's it. So the thing I like about that is it's going to be made of stainless steel, the same as the Momotaro ones, but it's going to be a smaller unit. Now I think it will turn out okay. And the size of it, I'm not 100% sure what size I want it, but I don't want it to be a meter. I don't want it to be 100 cm long. I wanted it to be smaller. I want it to be small enough to fit solidly on a block on flat wall. That's the whole idea of it. So saying that, a block, the length of a block I think is 240 long. So I was thinking making it wide enough to fit in between or on the top of 2 blocks, which I think is a sensible idea, because that makes the Baky shower, you know, kind of a nice size. It's smaller than the Momotaro ones. It's not minute, but it's a little bit smaller, and you can have as many tiers as you want, I guess, but I'm going to make them originally to start with 3 tiers. Now I'm going to make myself one. I'm going to see how much it cost, and then I think I might try to put these into production if people are interested in them. And I'm quietly confident that places like, I'm not going to mention any names, but you can get plastic Baky showers for between £400 and £900. You know, I'm quietly confident that I can do these high grade stainless steel Baky showers, the same size, for the same price, even cheaper. So that's my idea, is to bring a really good product, nice classy stainless steel, bring it to your pond, and and possibly smashing the competition to pieces. It's not a competition really, but I just would like a small stainless steel shower for myself, and I've been looking for one for, well, a year possibly, as long as I've been really seriously into koi, and I can't find one. I don't think there's one out there. So I think there's a little bit of a gap, not as in the market for profit wise, but just for a nice little stainless steel Baky shower for grow on ponds, or for generally smaller ponds, you know. Yeah, so as you can see here guys, this is a little drawing that I've knocked up for the size of the bottom tier of the Baky shower. So it's not going to be a wear system. It's going to have 2 outlets, which is 40mm. They're going to have stainless steel tubing to come off, so whether you want it to flow into the pond or to attach it to pipework, that's possible. It's going to be 880 long, which is 2 blocks, 25 centimeters wide and 30 cm high. So these are going to be the top tiers. As you can see, there's no 40mm outlets on these, so these can be stacked up however high you want them, 3 or 4 tier. You can see the grid on the bottom, which is all going to be laser cut, and then obviously it's going to be folded up in the manufacturer's process and welded up the seams, which will produce pretty strong Baky shower, all one piece, laser cut and folded up through the sides. So when I've got some more pictures of the actual prototype, I'll let you know more. But anyway, that's enough about that. Yeah, so enough about that Baky shower. I'm not going to say any more because it's in the pipeline at the moment. It's going to the manufacturers. My mate Mac is going to do a proper CAD drawing of it, so we'll talk more about that in the future. But I would like to do something like that, and I got to think of a cool little name. So I don't know. It's got to be a cool little name. Oh, I look like Jamiroquai. Boom, space cowboy. Right. But yeah, if you've got any cool names for a koi company, I don't know, sort of like military coolie name, let me know. Stick it in the comments. I'd like to know. Hang on. Was it? Oh, my little wife is up there, my little boy. What's happening, love? Oh, is that dirty washing? Yeah. Oh, a man's work is never done. I do all the washing in the house because my missus doesn't know how to work the washing machine. She's laughing, she knows it's fucking true. Right, so that's the score. So cool names, guys, cool names. They're cool, and I might laser etch them onto the corner because I like little details like that. Maybe do it in Japanese or something. Wow, cool. Let me spin you around again and show you the slab that I've done. Boom. Right guys, so I hope you can see that. That ended up being way less than I thought it was going to. Now you can't really see it from this side because you've got that 40 to 45 degree cut there, but it literally, what it does now is it flows down and it flows down. So basically I have a low channel all the way across the middle, okay? So all the sediment will flow into that channel and the flow of it should get it down there, especially when the bubbles come on. It's going to create a vortex, almost like a mushroom kind of vortex, or a, you know, like a nuclear explosion under the water with bubbles, so on and so forth, and that's the kind of effect you're going to get. And that's what's going to suck everything into the centre, plop, in with a jellyfish. So that's done. I filled up a couple of holes. Don't look at those 2 blocks there, they're just little blocks that I've had to cut. So I'm going to utilise those because I would like that to go a little tiny bit higher. So I need to cut another block there and cement that in. But that's not an issue at the moment. I'm not worried about that at all. And I'm going to I'm going to put another layer of wood over there because that is only one layer of feather edge to the outside element. So I'm going to batten that, and I'm going to put another layer of tongue and groove on that, just for the insulation purposes of it for the winter. Not amazing, and not like mega worried about it, but just for peace of mind. In fact, no, that's got 2 layers of fence already. I can see one in the background. I'm talking rubbish. But anyway, that's the score there. Let me show you all of the fiberglassing stuff I've got. Right, so basically I'm going to show you the stuff that I've got ready to fiberglass this pond and insulate it, because there's a few people's commented saying, where did I get the stuff, what stuff am I using, in case they wanted to do it. Well, absolutely right to ask, because if you watch me do it and I mess up, don't use what I'm using and don't do what I do. But if I do a good job, then get exactly what I get, do exactly what I do, and there's nothing to stop you from doing your own pond. Because I can tell you now, I'll price everything up in a minute, and by fiberglassing my pond, it works out cheaper than getting a pond liner. I can guarantee you. If not cheaper, exactly the same price. Right, so for the people who's asked where have I got my insulation from and what is it, this is the stuff here. So it's basically 10 mil, okay? It's very dense, right? Okay, and I believe that's all you're gonna need. You don't need like 50 mil Kingspan, I don't think, especially for that's kind of indoor pond that I'm doing there now, right? And the place where it's coming from, let me cover my address, is Underfloor Heating Express. So if you go on to underfloorheatingexpress.com, you will find that stuff there. I can't quite remember how much it was, but it didn't break the bank. That's the stuff I've got for that. Right. The other stuff I use for fiberglassing is here, look. So if you look at this, this is the matting I'm going to use, okay? So it's 8 square meters of matting in here. It's from a company called Stronghold, GPR roofing system, okay? And it's a chopped strand mat. And it is, this one is 450 gram, okay? So that's what I've got. So I've got 2 of these, okay? So like I said, that's enough to do 1 layer, and that's enough to do 2 layers. So the other stuff I've got, obviously, is the catalyst that you need to, that's more than enough. That would last you for 60 kgs of resin, you know, it lasts for ages. This stuff is super dangerous. If this gets in your eyes or anything like that, you know, good night Irene. It's super like explosive and fire, blah, blah, blah. It's nasty stuff. Keep it away from kids and pets. That is not nice stuff, right? So when you're using that, also I use rubber gloves, and I actually, mate, I'm mental, okay? Believe it or not, I've been shot a few times and blown up, but I still put glasses on to use this, right? So make sure you put glasses on with that. And this is the resin. So it's the same brand. It's a Stronghold GRP roofing system trade resin. All right, it's got to be good because it says trade on it. And also I've got these little flappy paddles. Okay, so these are called I can't remember, I did mention it earlier on. It's escaped me now. Anyway, yeah, those paddles. So this is basically to rub on the sides, you know, once you've got all the resin, and this gets all the air bubbles out. But as soon as the resin goes off, these are gone. So I've got 2. I've got 2, which I'll probably definitely need 2, because I'll probably do the pond in 2 passes, if you know what I mean. I'll probably do all the sides, and then I'll do all the floor. So I'll need 2 of them basically. And again, for the top coat, what I'll do is I'll flip you around. Yeah, so for the top coat, so that's the same resin as I've used before that I've just showed you. I've got a little bit left in there, which I'm going to use to make a paste to stick the insulation boards onto the walls, which is a bit of an experiment for me, but I'm going to try to do it. I've seen people make the resin and mix it with baby powder to make a thick gunky resin, and then you can use it as a paste. You put it on the back of the boards and you stick it onto the wall. So we're going to try that. That's going to be something new for me, but I'm going to try it. This is the black top coat that I use. Okay, so I'm not quite sure where that's from, but you can get it on the internet. I think I might have got that one from eBay. It's all the same stuff, mate. You know what I mean? You put catalyst in it, you paint it on, and it goes black. So I'll when I actually do use it, I will get all the brands, all the amounts that I've used for my particular pond. So if anybody's interested, they can sort of like weigh up the costs and do it themselves. But I think so I've just spent, I went down, I got 20 kilos of resin, 2 rollers. Those mats cost me 150 quid, 150 quid, that's 50 quid, 200 quid. Generally, 200 quid is going to cost me to fiberglass this pond. Now, if you were to get a box liner, I can't imagine a box liner being any cheaper than that, because they've got to cut it to size, blah, blah, blah. If you get a normal liner, you imagine how big the liner's got to be to make the folds to go all the way around the sides. I don't think you'll get it for, you know, if it's 200 quid, I wouldn't be surprised. If it was more expensive, I still wouldn't be surprised. So what I'm saying is, if you guys have always dreamed about owning your own fiberglass pond, just don't be scared of it, guys. It literally is not rocket science. And the way I think about it is, people go, my God, what happens if my bottom drain leaks? Well, that's fine. You've got a perfect overflow. So just keep putting fresh water in it. As long as it doesn't go more than 20% a week, you're good. In fact, if you do get a leak in it and it leaks out 20% a week, well, that's perfect. Just keep topping it up. That's not the way you should think, but you know, what's the worst that can happen? That, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? And the worst that can happen is you just drain your pond and you just repair what you've done. You can still patch this stuff. You know, there's always stuff like good silicons that might hide a little bit of a dodgy seal in a drain or something, you know. But have a go, guys. It's worth having a go. It's good fun. It's not good fun actually, because it stinks, but I think I'm going to be all right here because I got good ventilation through this door. I'll put a fan on that side as well, because when I done my big pond, if you look back on one of my first videos, you can see me fiberglassing my big pond under sort of like an airtight shed I made over it, I guess. And oh mate, it was terrible. I don't recommend anyone do that unless you've got issues. So anyway, guys, that's just a quick update. I'm not doing anything tonight. I'm just waiting for things to keep setting. The compost still needs a few days to go off properly. You know, I had done it 24 hours ago, so give it a good 4 or 5 days to go off. We'll wait for that pipe work to come, and then get all the other little bits and bobs I need ready for fiberglassing. I think I'll do. Yeah, we'll see how we go. We'll see how we go. We'll see how long it takes me to prep everything and to insulate everything, and I'll decide when I'm going to attack the fiberglassing. But it's not going to be long now, guys, because I'm going to Kent in a couple of weeks. I wouldn't mind getting a couple of small fish up there to start this off. Nothing too crazy, because I want everything to kick off. Now, I don't think I'm going to have my Baky shower, but as long as I don't overstock this thing, I think it's going to be fine with a few fish, with like half a dozen fish or something. Be good fun. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you for an update the weekend.